Hey y'all, it's D, and if you're ready to catch these vibes, let's first subscribe and let's remember to watch to the end. So in today's video, I'm going to talk about how I believe that self-care and self-love is linked to self-worth. In today's video, I'm going to talk about I'm going to be talking about my thoughts and my perspective on how I believe that self-care and self-love is linked to your self-worth, and how all of those things are kind of like a recycling kind of a thing. In my last video, I kind of showed y'all in an introductory way how I do some of the things that I do when I'm in a funk and I'm just having a hard time like staying optimistic and staying positive, staying present focused, because trusting the signs it's hard sometimes, and it can create a funk no matter how positive you are. And sometimes with that, you can forget to prioritize self-care and you forget to love on yourself in those moments, because I feel as humans, it's almost innate for us to focus on the negatives more so than the positives, just by nature, naturally. But I am here to connect the dots in a way. So, what does self-care mean to me? To me personally, I believe that self-care means taking accountability and responsibility of your whole well-being, period. Whether it be physically, mentally, socially, emotionally, financially. So it's taking responsibility on taking care of yourself. But it goes beyond that. I believe that self-care is the action. So like we can become aware, we can acknowledge how we're feeling physically. Damn, after a long week, I'm like tired, my back is aching, my dogs are barking. I have had to talk to so many people. I've had to do so many things. I've had to grocery shop. I've had to cook. I've had to do this meeting, do this and that. So throughout life, we have so much going on. Once we forget about self-care, once we forget about how important it is to love ourselves, to take care of ourselves, we lose sight. What am I trying to say? Hold on. Over here in these vibes. Oh, the St. Louis just came out. Over here. So how is self-care linked to self-love? I believe that once you have acknowledged your thoughts, feelings, behaviors, emotions, whatever it is, once you have body scanned, okay, maybe mind, body, soul scanned, your whole being, meaning checking in with yourself and like, what's going on? Why am I feeling like this? I feel once you have done that, and if you don't do anything about it, it speaks volumes to you maybe not knowing yourself and maybe not knowing your worth. And that in turn leads to you not really being able to love yourself, because you're not as self-aware or mindful of yourself as you could be. To me, taking care of ourselves is an act of self-love, and is an act of us showing that we also understand our self-worth. It's knowing and showing that we know our self-love and our self-worth, because we're able to just do what we need to do for ourselves without looking for validation, waiting for approval, or just bullshitting around. An example that I thought of when I was, thinking of this topic, let's say that a loved one tells you that they call you up, hey girl, hey bro, I am not feeling good. I got this going on. I got these symptoms. I may have signs of this. I may need to go to the emergency room, or like an urgent care or something. You quickly tend to feel a sense of protected love for them, and you quickly tend to think, okay, how can I best help my friend? How can I best help my loved one in their time of need? Because I want them to feel like themselves again. I want them to feel better. You think about all the different kind of things or ways of adding to their self-care in a sense, right? You may say, oh, okay, well, I'm gonna meet you up there. Oh, okay, do you need me to come pick you up so you won't have to drive yourself to the urgent care or emergency room? And I know this is like a crazy example, but it was the first one that came to mind, so bear with me. But you're thinking about different ways of helping them. You're actively expressing it because they're important to you. You change your behavior for a more positive result or outcome. And that is the same thing that we need to be remembering to do for ourselves, because if we can't do it for ourselves, for one, we can't pour into others. And then, like I've already said, if we don't take care of ourselves, maybe it's a sign that we don't love ourselves to the capacity that we should be, or we don't know ourselves. So now I kind of want to briefly talk about and give y'all some signs of how to know when you're lacking self-care. And when I say lacking, don't get me wrong. I specifically use the word lacking because I want to emphasize something real quick. Just because you feel you're lacking something, specifically self-care for the context of this video, it doesn't mean you're incapable. It just means that you kind of fell off, you slacking, and that's okay. I feel that those moments of us feeling like we're lacking or slacking off, it's just time for us to create some solitude and let's regroup, let's reset, let's reassess some things of what we're doing so we can better improve on what we want to get to or how we want to get. Just because you're feeling like you're lacking taking care of yourself or like acknowledging, damn deodorant. Just because you feel like you're lacking doesn't mean you're incapable of doing the things that you need to do to take care of yourself. You don't lack the energy, you don't lack the effort, you don't lack the knowledge or the skills. And what I mean by energy is everybody has what it takes inside of them. Everybody has this internal power that maybe we haven't tapped into yet, but slowly but surely you will over time, and you'll just know. Maybe you've just been allowing external energies from other people, places, and things, or external things that, life events that go on to distract your focus. Let's practice being gracious with ourselves and setting ourselves up for more grace and being more kind to ourselves when we're in this motion and notion of self-care, because it can be a lot. And that's why it's important to watch to the end, because at the end, I am also going to talk about toxic culture of self-care. What is that? So practice being gracious with yourself while you learn yourself and you experience life, letting life be, and while you're elevating more into yourself to become your highest self and to ultimately love yourself without anything else. So now on the screen, I have a list of signs that you may be lacking self-care and self-love and knowing your self-worth. But I'm going to emphasize my 3 that are on this list. The first one is feeling overwhelmed. And if you know me in real life, your girl used to really struggle with just becoming overwhelmed and not really knowing what to do with the anxiety that came with me feeling so overwhelmed. And so over time and over different life experiences and things that I was encountering, especially once my spiritual journey started and I was starting to become awakened with things and questioning things in life, I was like, girl, you just don't be staying present focused. So in the moments of me now, when I sometimes experience feeling overwhelmed or feeling anxious about something, I just try to take a minute, and it could be literally a minute or 5 minutes or 10, whatever amount of a lot of time that I have to devote to myself in that moment. I try to give it to myself right there, right now, in that moment, to help myself remember what's going on. What do I have control over right now? Most of the times when you take that step back away from everything and you're seeing shit more clear and just, you're seeing shit because it's all on the table, it's in front of you, you're able to be like, okay, that, I don't have no control over that. So why am I even allowing this to make me feel as overwhelmed as I am? So that kind of helps me out. This second one, child, comment below if you resonate, because I feel like a lot of people struggle with feeling bad for not doing or doing enough productivity in a day, or feeling bad for not being productive at all times when you are so goal oriented, when you have all these big dreams that you're chasing and making realities. We can sometimes allow this shit to really stir us in a way where we just, oh my God, what the fuck? So in those moments, again, I do try to take a step back and give myself some time and just, woosah. But then I also realized that maybe I'm not being gracious with myself. I'm back to that. Maybe I'm not setting myself up for grace because personally, I used to write out my goals, right? I would write out in the month of April, I want to accomplish releasing my poetry book. I want to release my second poetry, and I want to travel to Houston, right? When you have these goals, whether they're small or big, it definitely is helpful when you can write out attainable ways of achieving the goal at hand, okay? And what I mean by writing out attainable goals, it's like writing out bullet points underneath something. It is going to help you achieve it in the timely manner that you want it to be done with, but it also gives yourself, room to, it just gives yourself space. It gives yourself room. In order for me to accomplish releasing my poetry book, what all do I need to do in order to have that done and it be done by the end of April? It's a lot that goes into writing, creating, publishing, printing a book, okay? And this is a good time for me to, tell y'all that if y'all need to journal, I have These Vibes Divine Journaling series, right? And it's going to be 3 journals. And the first one is already done. It's a guided mental health journal, and it's on Amazon, and the link will be in the description box. Let's get back into it. But yes, y'all, let's try to set ourselves up for grace and for more kindness towards ourselves and our goals in terms of feeling and being productive. Because honestly, and I'm gonna make another video about this, whose imagination are we living in terms of feeling productive? Like feeling productive enough, Yeah, let's. So my third one is they kind of like all balance. They kind of all go hand in hand. My last one is allowing anxiety to manifest from my overthinking. So I do struggle with ADHD, and then I also have a little bit of OCD tendencies here and there and everywhere. And so a lot of the time, not a lot of the time. Sometimes I can become so eager about whatever I'm thinking about or whatever I'm actively working on because I'm so passionate, But sometimes that can create a lot of overthinking scenarios, fake ass shit in my head that probably won't come true and hasn't came true yet, if it will come true. But if it does come true, it's like, girl, just worry about it when you get there, if you have to even get there, But again, with this one, it's me taking a step back and remembering that, girl, you're not staying as present focused as you should be. You need to be living in each moment, and then you'll feel better. So now I'm going to talk about how to love yourself with intentions, how to practice self-care and self-love for more self-worth and for more self-care, because I said it's a cycle, it's a whole thing. How to do this with intention, how to do it with grace. I don't get tired of just the word grace, okay? To me, simply, it means to give yourself what it needs in that present moment. So me and my therapist, we created a wellness wheel, and she broke it up into five well-being aspects. So physical, health, emotional, spiritual, mental, and social. And what she had me do is try to identify at least 5, but no more than 10 different ways in each category in the wellness wheel that, if I'm feeling emotional, or if I'm feeling socially drained, or if I'm feeling mentally drained or exhausted, I can go to this list, I can go to my wellness wheel, and I can just pick one thing that I know will resonate with. But after, and that was back, I think we created that in like November of last year. And so we revisited it not too long ago, I want to say maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago, and I was expressing to her that yes, I do feel that this wellness wheel has helped me up to this point since November. Now I feel I'm living with more intention, right? And so maybe I can recreate this list, and we did do that when we revisited it. But I was trying to get her to understand that I want to start living and acting with intention with everything. And I feel with the wellness wheel, I can't really actively live in the moment because I'm going to that and I'm like, okay, I'm feeling physically tired. Well, I need to pick something on this list. What if how I'm feeling in that moment is not on my list, on my wellness wheel, you know? So that's what I mean by being a little bit more intentional. It's actually a great tool that I still use, but like I said, do what feels right for you in that moment. If you have, your usual things that you tend to do, but they haven't been helping you out, think outside of the box. Ask your friends, ask your family, get on YouTube or go out and explore the world and see what gravitates to you, what attracts you. You know what I'm saying? What feels good, and then do it. So again, with this segment of the video, I am going to be putting some things on the screen, a list of ways I personally be more intentional when I am loving myself or practicing self-care and self-love. But the people that research things from HuffPost, they included being real with yourself, minding your business, drinking your water, eating your fruits, things of that nature, things that help your physical health, but will also help your mental health and your emotional health. Socially, of course, spend time with people that make you feel uplifted, and instead of being like energy vouchers, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's some people that actively want to hang out with you. They intentionally want to hang out with you because they see that you radiate such just good energy, positive vibes. Watch out for that shit. But yes, I feel that, when you are more intentional and you set yourself up with more grace in terms of practicing self-care and self-love, it leads to more self-awareness and more self-discovery, and that just leads to you knowing yourself more, understanding your worth, and you will just naturally and organically start living that way. So now I'm going to briefly talk about the toxic culture of self-care, how I kind of touched a little bit earlier in the video. So I did some research in self-care for this video. Like I said, I found some stuff from HuffPost, and I will link that in the description box. I also came across an article, and I hate that I forgot. I didn't save where it came from, so I am so sorry. I'm trying to give credit where it's due. But this article talked about toxic culture and how it's important for us to not forget about intentions and being graceful when we are on this road of practicing more healthy and better ways of taking care of ourselves. Self-care, self-love, self-worth. What I gathered from it was sometimes we can indirectly create a toxic culture around like practicing more self-care, and it can become a toxic culture because we can become addicted to self-improvement in the sense of trying to just get better, you know what I mean? Or trying to do the things that we consider as self-care. But just because they're considered as self-care, like I said, it doesn't mean that it will totally resonate with you and make you feel better after practicing whatever activity that you did. So it becomes toxic because of that. And then that whole thing, it can lead into you beating yourself up, you shutting down, isolating, withdrawing from friends, loved ones, maybe having a hard time working, or if you're in school, doing homework, going to classes. It can really, start this whole spiraling down situation because you're trying things for self-care that is not resonating with you. It is not working. So then that can start another cycle of, damn, now I'm beating myself up and I'm completely shutting down. But that's why it's so important to know yourself, to know your self-worth, to know how much you love yourself and how much you need to show that with whatever self-care practices that you are trying to create. You know what I mean? So I hope that my first Catch These Vibes episode here on my YouTube channel fostered a sense of love and light, positivity, and inspiration for you guys to do what you have to do for yourself, okay? You matter. If ain't nobody told you, I see you, baby. I hear you. I stand with you. I stand beside you. I support you. I care about you, and I love you. period, okay? Let's remember to practice self-care. Let's remember to practice self-love. Let's remember who the fuck we are, and remember to practice self-worth. And I'll catch y'all in the next video.